Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood. Today we're going to be learning about deciduous trees. That's the trees that shed their leaves in the fall. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Consider this. Some say those fallen leaves covering your lawn are a major hazard that can actually kill the grass. They say the only healthy way to take care of your yard is to rake every last leaf, bag it, and get rid of it. What do you think? Will fallen leaves really ruin your lawn? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Today's word is deciduous. That's Deciduous. Deciduous is an adjective used to describe trees and shrubs that seasonally shed their leaves, usually in the autumn. The word deciduous comes from the Latin word decidus, which means that which falls down. This came from the verb decidere, which combines de or de, meaning from or down, and cadere, meaning to fall. So a deciduous tree is literally a falling down tree. We use deciduous to contrast these trees with evergreen or coniferous trees, which I'll probably make another episode about later. Coniferous trees typically keep their needles or leaves year-round. Deciduous trees, though, shed their leaves in a brilliant survival strategy. By dropping their leaves, deciduous trees conserve precious water and energy during the cold, dry winter months. When sunlight is scarce and water might be frozen in the ground, it's more efficient to shut down production and wait for spring. It's an adaptation that allows them to thrive in climates with distinct growing and dormant seasons. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about deciduous trees. Number 1, those beautiful oranges and yellows we see on the trees in the fall are actually there all year round, just usually hidden by the green. During spring and summer, leaves are green because of a pigment called chlorophyll. This pigment is a powerhouse, allowing the tree to perform photosynthesis, which is the process of turning sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into food. But chlorophyll isn't the only pigment in the leaf. There are also carotenoids, which produce yellow, orange, and brown colors. The massive amount of green chlorophyll is so dominant that it just completely masks the other colors. As the days get shorter and colder in autumn, trees get the signal to stop producing chlorophyll. The green pigment breaks down and fades away, finally revealing the stunning yellow and orange carotenoids that were there all along. The bright reds and purples, though, are a little bit different. They come from anthocyanins. These are pigments the tree actively produces in the fall when excess sugars get trapped in the leaves, acting like a kind of sunscreen to protect the leaf as it finishes its work. Number 2. Trees have a process to actually self-amputate their leaves using a special layer of cells. Trees don't just let their leaves get frozen and fall off randomly. It's a deliberate and controlled process called abscission. As fall approaches, the tree builds a special layer of cells right where the leaf stem, known as the petiole, meets the branch. This layer of cells, called the abscission layer, begins to seal off the connection between the leaf and the tree, stopping the flow of water and nutrients. This starves the leaf, causing it to die. Eventually, the cells in the abscission layer weaken and dissolve, and the leaf is detached by a gust of wind or even just its own weight. This process leaves behind a small sealed leaf scar on the branch, which is like a scab that protects the tree from disease and water loss during the winter. Number 3, the world's largest known living organism is a grove of deciduous trees. It's called Pando, a colossal colony of quaking aspen trees in Utah. While it looks like a forest of over 40,000 individual trees, it's actually a single organism. All the trees are clones genetically identical and connected by one massive underground root system. Pando covers 106 acres and it's estimated to weigh a staggering 13 million pounds, making it the heaviest known organism on Earth. Not only is Pando the heaviest, but it's also one of the oldest. Scientists estimate the root system began growing at the end of the last ice age, making it potentially 14,000 years old. Each individual tree or stem only lives for about 130 years, but the root system constantly sends up new shoots, allowing the organism to regenerate itself for millennia. Number 4, deciduous forests are connected by an underground sort of internet that lets trees talk to each other. It sounds like something from science fiction, but it's true. Many deciduous trees, like oaks, maples, and birches, form symbiotic relationships with vast underground networks of fungi. These hair-like fungal threads, called mycorrhizal networks, connect the roots of different trees, sometimes spanning miles. This system has been nicknamed the Wood Wide Web. Through this network, trees can share resources and send warnings. A healthy mother tree with access to lots of sunlight can send carbon and nutrients through the network to shaded seedlings that are struggling to grow. And if one tree is attacked by insects, it can release chemical signals into the network, warning neighboring trees to activate their own chemical defenses before the insects even arrive. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: a single large deciduous tree can act almost like nature's air conditioner. It releases over 100 gallons of water into the air on a hot day, which can cool the surrounding area. It's a process called transpiration, and it's how trees breathe and cool themselves. A tree pulls water up from its roots, and the water travels all the way to its broad leaves. The leaves have tiny pores called stomata, which open to take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. When these pores open, water vapor escapes into the atmosphere. A large, leafy oak or maple tree has thousands of leaves, creating a huge surface area for this to happen. And this massive release of water vapor has a powerful, localized cooling effect, sort of similar to how sweat cools your skin. This massive water vapor has a powerful localized cooling effect. It's the reason why sitting directly under a large maple tree feels so much cooler than sitting under a beach umbrella. In cities, this effect is so significant that a neighborhood with a healthy canopy of deciduous trees can be about 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit cooler than a neighborhood with just buildings and pavement. Now for some news you can use. If you're planting a new deciduous tree, here's a vital tip to help make sure it lives a long, healthy life. Don't bury the root flare. The root flare or trunk flare is the spot at the base of the tree where the trunk widens out and the main roots begin to spread. Many people make the mistake of planting a tree too deeply, covering this flare with soil and mulch. This is a huge problem because it smothers the tree. The bark at the flare is meant to be in the open air. When it's buried in moist soil, it can begin to rot and becomes a doorway for disease and insects. This can cause girdling roots, where roots grow in a circle around the tree instead of spreading out, eventually choking the tree. So, When you plant, always find that flare and make sure it sits just above the level of the ground. It's the single best thing you can do to get your new tree off to a great start. Once your tree is in the ground at the perfect height, the next thing you want to do is protect it. For the next year, the new tree is focused on growing its roots, and you actually want to hold off on the fertilizer. Adding fertilizer too soon could burn the delicate new roots. The soil it came with has all the nutrients it needs to get started. Instead, focus on deep, consistent watering. A slow soak once or twice a week is much better than a light sprinkle every other day, as it encourages the roots to grow deep into the ground. Finally, protect its young, tender bark from animals like deer or rabbits by adding a simple plastic tree guard around the base. A little care in the first year will set up your tree for a lifetime of healthy growth. And now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked if fallen leaves are trash that will smother and kill your grass. Well, this one is mostly a fallacy. The idea that you have to rake, bag, and remove every single leaf is incorrect. In reality, fallen leaves are a natural and incredibly valuable resource for your yard. They're packed with nutrients that the tree pulled from the soil, and when they decompose, they return those nutrients, acting as a free natural fertilizer. The best and easiest thing to do is mow over your leaves with your lawnmower. This breaks them into small, confetti-like pieces that'll settle down between the blades of grass. There, they'll quickly be broken down by earthworms and microbes, feeding your lawn and improving the soil. Now, the kernel of truth is that you shouldn't just leave a thick mat of whole leaves on the lawn all winter, as that can block sunlight and trap moisture, leading to problems. But simply mulching them with your mower is one of the best things you can do for a healthy yard and a happy ecosystem. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about deciduous trees with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.